Hello beautiful booktubers, I'm Becky Bookworm and I'm here today to do my wrap up. So this is the wrap up from the 1st of October up until now. I've read 3 books, so hopefully it won't take too long to chat through. The first book I read was Whispers Underground by Ben Aronovich. It's number 3 in the Peter Grant trilogy. Without spoiling too much, the Peter Grant trilogy is the story of a normal policeman who gets tangled up in the world of magic, and he gets drafted and has to go and become a sort of wizard's apprentice and help try and solve magical crimes that happen. So by the time we get to book 3, he's well on his way. He can make what's called a wheelite that he sort of conjures in his hand, and they're kind of like whodunit kind of things, like stuff happens in each book. This one is all about the underground in London, and somebody turns up, well, doesn't turn up dead, but turns up almost dead and then dies, and they don't know where he came from. He just crawled out of the tracks where the tube is, and they don't know what happened or why, so they've got to investigate that. And I have to say, I know I've said it before, but I love Ben Aronovich's writing. The character Peter Grant is brilliant. The books are just so easy to read. The pacing's really good, and all of the characters are very individual, and at every single point through it, I didn't feel like I was reading a book. I felt like I knew these characters, and I was really excited to see where the story went. So I fully intend on carrying on with these. I think there's about 8 so far, so I'm excited to read the next one. And I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. Next up is a graphic novel. I read The Beauty Volume 3. With it being Volume 3, it is hard to describe without spoiling anything, but the premise of the whole series so far is there's an STI that people are nicknaming the Beauty. If you contract this disease, it basically turns you absolutely gorgeous. Your metabolism steps up. Within, I think, 24 hours or a few days, you just end up absolutely gorgeous. So obviously, people being people in the nature that we are, we like beautiful things, we want to be beautiful ourselves, so everyone goes out and is trying to catch it. Now it starts in the first ones, people with the beauty are spontaneously combusting, and it sort of carries on from there. By the time we get to Volume 3, I don't think this is really too spoilery, but there's a serial killer targeting people with the beauty, so it's about the police force that's tasked to deal with problems within the beauty community and how they go about those and who did it. It's really easy to read, and I love the darkness of it. Looking into the human condition and our obsession with beauty, I'm really liking it so far, and the graphics are absolutely amazing. And the last book I've read is Vigil by Angela Slatter. Now I've had this book on my shelf for over a year, and I kept meaning to read it. I saw a few people talking about it on BookTube last year, and it just sounded right up my street. It's kind of magical realism. It tells the story of Verity Fassbinder. She is part weird, which is magical, and part human. She doesn't have any magical powers to speak of, but she is unusually strong. Her dad was disgraced and is no longer with them, and she has to live under that shadow of what he did. I won't say what he did. She's a private investigator. If things start to go wrong and they think the weird might be involved or something's happening to weird, she gets brought in to investigate it. She has a very strange relationship with a lot of people in the weird community. So we follow her as she tries to build those relationships, and her character is really good. She's quite layered. She wants to get on with people and she wants people to like her, but also she won't take any crap. She'll try and get the job done. There's complicated relationships in the story, and you know, the overarching story of who is killing off these weirds and why. There's also some quite gruesome bits that I believe are taken from old folklore and fairy tales and that sort of thing, like kids being taken for their tears and it being bottled in wine bottles, and it's a delicacy of the weird, but they're not supposed to do that anymore because they've sort of assimilated with humans. So yeah, I really enjoyed it. I didn't want it to end, and I was kind of hoping that there would be a sequel, but as far as I know, I don't think there is. But again, I really enjoyed that, and that's another 4 out of 5 stars for me. So I've done really well. I've done a lot better than I did for Sci-Fi September, so I'm really pleased with my reading so far. I haven't read as much as I've usually read in a month because I'm doing 2 drawing challenges. I'm doing Inktober and Drawloween. I will hopefully be filming a video about that next week when I'm on holiday, when I've got a bit more time, and I'll show you some of the things that I've done. They're not amazing, but I still want to share them anyway so that you can see my progress. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and please subscribe, and I'll be back soon with another video. Big hugs. Bye!